Now that Danilo has released his belt, and now that we have ended our digression concerning the previous deflowering that our hero had already managed, almost inadvertently, let us pick up the thread of our story at the precise moment in which Danilo heads toward Adalagia and takes her in his arms, a crucial moment. In this case, it was not a question of a ripe cherry, well seasoned in the practice of promiscuity, reduced to half its size from contact with fingers, tongues, pricks, never yet touched by a soulful finger, an adroit tongue, not to mention a penis, Danilo's or anybody else. Dada was truly virginal.
Jorge Amato.
Wear your motto on your sleeve. Truly virginal.
Can you talk to the audience? This is extremely important. Cassady had a saying about the lag. Can you break down the lag?
The lag is the 1/30 of a second that it takes for a thought to traverse from your brain to your mouth to your fingers or whatever. It's also the amount of time it takes for your eye to see something and it to register on the brain and become something. It is a fixed thing that is in all of us, but that Cassady talked about all the time because he said race car drivers going at 250 to 300 miles an hour have to be able to shorten the lag down to react to the impending doom that is on their wheel at every turn. And so he was always talking about that, how to lick the lag. And so we licked the lag a lot, but it left a funny taste in your mouth, kind of metallic.
How does it lend itself to improvisation?
Well, improvisation has a lot to do with the lag because when you're improvising, you are letting it out without thinking about it. That's what it really has to come down to. It's like Kerouac when he was writing, was able to just jam on the typewriter without having to think about it beforehand. And I want to recommend if you people out there like Kerouac and you've probably read On the Road, you want to reread it again, the original scroll, in which there's no paragraphs, there's no chapters, there's just one continuous long thing happening without end in that book. I mean, it is totally amazing.
Can you talk in your estimation about when you became firmly entrenched in San Francisco? The myth is that the Summer of Love was in '67. Rather, that was the invasion of the people that came from outside of San Francisco into the Bay Area. And that's when you went under the concrete. And I'm just trying to figure out if you could paint the picture of when you really got entrenched. I mean, Walker was talking to me about really getting his hands on acid in '64, legal acid.
Yeah.
And I just wanted you to talk about the San Francisco scene, the Perry Lane scene, before the invasion of all those people in '67.
Well, the thing that was happening in San Francisco, when we went on the bus trip, it was still in its formative stages. People were doing acid and doing the same kinds of stuff, experimenting in all the arts. But by the time we came back from the bus trip and we started doing the acid tips, I'll give you a tip. Take a tip of this.
Tip.
You want a tip? How about Jacoby and the Six at Hialeah? That never did work. So anyway, it was becoming more and more people knowing about it. Like there were outfits in San Francisco, like the Straight Theater,
Right.
And the bands. The bands were really coming on, and the acid tests were happening. So it all kind of came to a head at the Trips Festival when all the groups came with their stuff and for a weekend revealed what they were doing. And you realize that this is just the tip of the iceberg, that this is going on everywhere, but that we were lucky to be, it was not only an iceberg, but it was a tsunami. And we were riding the wave, and we were lucky to be on the first of the wave, but the waves kept coming, and everything was still going. I remember Kesey one time in about 1972 says, the wave is still moving. It's all the way to Kansas now. But now, today's world is totally psychedelicized. I mean, who needs drugs? Everything's going on so crazy, and everything's so vivid, and everything's so wild and wonderful and awful at the same time. I mean, like I say, shoo, who needs drugs? We are the drug.
Well, but we just looked at the Cassady garage sale. Those drawings and again, without vetting, you know the plot better than anybody, but the creativity component of LSD specifically, especially the Sandoz LSD, cannot be underestimated. Cats today are listen, in China, yeah, you have technology, you have all this incredible visual stuff. They have camps in China now because parents can't get their kids. These are camps that wean kids off of technology. Technology in and of itself is not it's not the it's not the end game. The psychedelicized part of it was the most tangible piece to the creativity. You look at that jagged approach that Cassady had. I mean that was not formulaic in any way, shape, or form.
Of course not. Originality is a wonderful thing if you can come up with it. Creativity is the other part of the thing, and to be able to work those things. But you can be creative in whatever you do. And the whole tech thing is just another example of tools. I mean, to me, the best tool that ever invented is the cordless drill. But there are also other tools, and I thought, oh, wait a minute, even better tool that was invented we could not do without is the wheelbarrow. I mean, but you don't take your wheelbarrow and live in it, and you don't take your cordless drill to bed with you. But you use those as tools, just like you don't take your phone to bed with you, and you don't have that computer on all the time, nor the TV, but you use them for whatever you can in your work and also your pleasure.
Do your grandkids...
Do I have grandkids?
No. Do your grandkids understand the balance of technology? You come from a different generation, so do I. We didn't have phones. We didn't have devices that give us instantaneous information.
Well, in the same way that everything that's invented as time goes on captures the imagination and people fall for it, but they have to learn on their own to put it down and to stay involved in life. And if they don't learn that, then they become freaks. But on the other hand, we encourage people to freak freely. In fact, the best saying of all is let your freak flag fly.
That you got it. Let your freak flag fly. I love it. Before I go, I just would like you to... I know you guys are really tight now and you talk a lot about basketball and stuff, but when did you first connect with Bill Walton?
Bill Walton? Well, I knew about him from his basketball playing days and following him on the tour.
You never played against him.
Oh, no. Oh, God,
he played later than you.
Oh, way later.
Yeah.
In fact, I was talking to him something about 1960. He says, 1960? I was 9 years old. And that kind of flashed me like, oh, right.
John Wooden was on the scene when you were playing, though.
John Wooden was the greatest coach ever, and Chip Kelly, who was our coach and then went into pros, has now come back to UCLA. And when he did his speech at the press conference, he said, we have to acknowledge UCLA's greatness in having the greatest coach in all sports ever in John Wooden.
That's a statement, although I don't love Chip Kelly, but that still is a statement.
Oh, boy. I mean, that was good. But also, Walton, the way I met him was the Dead was playing in Portland. And the green room was actually backstage up the stairs, and there was a room, and up another room. And so I was up like on the second floor in the room with Jerry Garcia. And we were shooting the shit, and someone stuck his head and says, time to go, we got to go. So we stepped out the door, and everybody was pouring down from the top floor. And as I stepped out the door, there was Bill Walton. And his watch crystal fell out on the floor right in front of me, and I picked it up, and I said, hey, Bill, you dropped your contact lens. And he almost hit me.